Yeah, obviously, sitting here on Monday reflecting back on the Eastern Michigan game, certainly didn't play well enough. Obviously, in the second half, offensively, not scoring any points there. Simply can't happen. Didn't play well enough. I thought defensively, once we settled in, the first three drives of the game, they scored on, but I thought our defense battled back and delivered a performance that was good enough to win. Obviously, we gave up the one explosive play in the second half, which was a big one. But after that, our guys competed. At least gave the ball back to the offense with opportunities in the second half to narrow the gap to get it to a one-score game. We couldn't deliver on it. So, obviously, you look at the game and you say, "Hey, man, obviously we cannot lose the turnover margin in any game. That's something that we got to continue to recognize and get that addressed. And then you look at some of the penalties. The first 2 weeks of MAC play, we've had 20 penalties called against us, 10 of which have been either pre or post snap penalties. So it's not a formula that you can repeat and have a chance. It's hard enough to be successful and put drives together, sustain drives, play good defense, play good special teams, and then, when you're having self-inflicted wounds such as the penalties and the turnovers, just simply can't happen. So it doesn't get any easier. We got Toledo coming in here this week. They're the best team in our conference, defending MAC champions. They lost by 2 on the road to open up the season, and they've won 5 straight. And they're playing good football, very talented, got a lot of experience, veteran football team, and they're doing a great job of playing good football. Coach Candle's done an exceptional job there, and it's going to be a great test for us.
Yeah, Coach, after Saturday, you said you're going to kind of look at everything to figure out what decisions need to be made. After looking at the film, what exactly did you see, especially offensively, that kind of needs to be fixed?
Well, we got to address everything, and when it starts with, we have not done a good enough job adjusting our identity after we've had some of the injuries that we've had. So much of our offseason was spent and built around the 2 tight ends that we have in our program. Well, unfortunately, they're both not available. Obviously, Brady hasn't been available. We haven't done a good enough job adjusting what we do offensively and taking on a new identity to fit what our players do best. I think if you look at the game Saturday, Kyle stepped in. He was explosive when he came in the football game and executed the QB run package, executed the zone read game. He did a really good job with that. We got to continue to look at how we're going to get production and how we're going to get explosive play. So it starts with that. It starts with that position, but we got to be better. I got to be better. We have to adjust our identity and what we're doing offensively. Some of the things that we thought we were going to hang our hat on this year with some of the run game, with some of the play action and utilizing the tight ends, it's just not who we are right now. So we got to adjust that, and we have to be better.
Yeah, and going off that, I think Kyle had a career high 9 carries, 94 yards. Was used a lot more on the ground than the previous week. So is he going to be even maybe a bigger part?
No question. No question. I mean, I think anybody can see that. So no question about it.
Also, we talked about the play calling, some of the decisions. Coach Lynch calls the plays, right?
Correct.
Is he going to continue to do that?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we're early in our week of preparation. We're going to continue to talk about that. Obviously, I know you brought it up after the game. The play down in the red zone where we were on the 5-yard line that we threw back to Corey. We're in 21 personnel expecting man coverage. We've repped it. We've run it 3 times since I've been here, 18, 19, and this year, and we didn't get man coverage. They did a good job of leaving a defender back and really took away the play. So obviously that's not the fault of the players. Obviously the tendencies, they broke a tendency and they got us. So we had first down, and certainly we had opportunities after that. But obviously we got to give our guys a chance to be successful. And obviously the 4th down play there, we got to get the ball to the end zone. Obviously they're not going to give up an easy one, but when you got 6'6", 6'7" tight end, even if he is double covered on the 4th down one, got to give him a chance in the back corner of the end zone. We can't throw the ball in the flat. With 4th and 7, 4th and goal from the 7, we got to give our guys a chance to go make a play, and sometimes it just has to be a man going up and making a play and utilizing his size.
Sure. Like you said, the defense did show some improvement from the previous 2 weeks. I guess what was working? I know you guys are down also with both your starting corners, so where was that success that you identified coming from?
Well, it starts with being good against the run. Our guys did a really good job against the run. Obviously, Samson Evans and Jalen Jackson are two guys that are good football players, and obviously they both had a lot of explosive plays on tape through the first part of the season there, so our guys really did a good job. Guys like Cole Pierce don't get enough credit for the performance that he's delivering. He had double-digit tackles. He had 2 sacks in the game, tackles for loss. He just shows up every week, and Keontae Newsome has done a great job of just getting more and more confident every week as he gains more snaps. He's been in a crowded position room for the better part of his career here, and so when the injury happened to Clayton and it opened up some significant time for him, he's just gotten stronger and stronger. Coach Stockton's done a great job with those guys in the meeting room, but they're not getting enough credit. Obviously, we had 5 sacks on the day against a dual-threat quarterback that's had a lot of big plays on tape going into it, where he extended the play and made some plays with his legs. He's had some big rushing performances. So the guys did a really good job. And I thought we did it, on the back end of it between Coach Stockton and Coach Hall, did a great job of mixing up coverages to help 2 corners that, were playing significant snaps for the first time. Ty Baldwin's played some. Jamad Harmon hasn't really played many snaps, so they did a good job of making those guys feel comfortable. And obviously both the safeties did a great job of doing their part to make sure those guys were settled down and could play. And really, again, after those first 3 drives, played a lot of good football, had the one explosive play in the third quarter, but really gave us a chance, got the ball back, had opportunities in the second half, and we didn't deliver.
I guess after a lot of these losses, you said that it comes down to execution and just poor execution. How do you feel like that can change?
Listen, we have who we have. Like I said, we haven't done a good enough job offensively adjusting our identity from what we put together in the offseason, what we thought we were going to be strong at going into the offseason. That's changed. We've had some injuries that have happened, with Brady. Obviously, Ty Robinson was doing a great job, but he's unavailable now, and he was really doing a good job of taking on that shape of going down that path of being a number 1 option at wideout. Well, then Vaughn Pemberton got hurt. We just have to adjust our identity to fit what we do well. We have to be good with knowing that's not going to be what we spend a lot of time on during the offseason, not going to be what we spend a lot of time on in spring or fall camp. It is what it is. We have to be better. That starts with me. And obviously you look at the game and you see Kyle step in and deliver some of those explosive plays, and Coop had some explosive runs. I mean, we got to keep feeding that. We got to keep going with that. Obviously, any team we play is going to have a plan, but we got to keep going with that because we're not going to gain anybody back magically. So we have to be better on our end, starting with me of adjusting our identity.
Yeah. What are some of the conversations that you'll have with coordinators after the game, whether offensive or defensive?
Yeah, obviously we had a meeting yesterday. We had a full staff meeting. We talked about that. We've been busy all night last night after the players left the facility, all morning this morning up until now, right in the middle of game planning, and it all starts with what we do well. That's the primary focus, is what we do well, and we have to build on that, period. It can't be something that we, obviously, like I said, I want to beat it, but our identity's changed, and we got to be good. We got to keep. It all starts with what are we good at, and then we got to build on that.
On the topic of identity, with the loss of Clayton, you said that you've seen guys like Cole and Keontae step up. Do you feel like the defense has done a good job of finding their identity?
I do. Obviously, I think every week has been a challenge, no different than it's been offensively. Special teams, obviously the depth chart on special teams changes every week too, when you have guys that are moving around or playing more here or somebody's out of lineup, it changes the depth chart there as well. So I think what we've done a good job of is putting our players in a position to not put them on an island, especially for both the corners playing a lot. And I thought mixing up some of the looks that we had on the back end and trying to make sure we did a good job of keeping the ball in front, always taking pride in being a good team against a run. It all starts with that because, these guys had a good running game, 2 good running backs, a good running quarterback. And so I think just the confidence level defensively is grown, and we got to keep going with that. Obviously, we're going to face a tough challenge this week, with the entire team here with Toledo. So we gotta keep going and have a great week of preparation.
Moving forward, it seems like on these losses, it's been a lot of the same kind of mistakes, like self-inflicted wounds. What do you think needs to change going forward?
I said the exact same thing to the staff yesterday. I've typed up notes after every single game sitting in the staff meeting. I keep saying the same thing. Keep saying that obviously we have to look. It has to, again, go back to the identity thing. We haven't done a good enough job adjusting our identity to fit what we really are, what we do well, and that's got to be it. And it might be very small menu, very small package, but that's what it is. We can't ask our guys to do something if we don't have the personnel to fit that. It is what it is. I don't want to sound like beating a dead horse, but it starts with that, and I couldn't agree more with you. I've said the same thing. We've talked about the details. We've talked about it comes down to that every week. Well, then we got to look at what we're asking our guys to do. Because we can't put them in that position if we can't execute the details the way they need to be done in order to have a chance to execute.
When you're asking guys to kind of maybe change the identity or fit into the new identity, what specifically are you looking for?
Well, our personnel. When I say identity, we got to look at our personnel that we have available for us, and that's got to be what we do. Because to some degree, we're trying to operate two different styles of offense. Okay, we're operating one style depending on this quarterback. We're operating another style depending on that quarterback. We got to focus on what we do well and go with that, period. Okay, whatever that menu looks like, whatever it may be, but we got to go based on what our strengths are and what's going to give us a chance to execute. And you look at those drives when Kyle was in the other day, and good things happen, right? Good things happen with us moving the ball, whether it's predominantly on the ground, whatever it may be. But you look at that, and good things were happening. So we got to build on that, and we can't worry about anything else. That's it.
Yeah. What's the mindset like as far as the players go inside the locker room right now?
Yeah, losing sucks. It does, but the train's going to keep moving forward. I told the guys in the locker room, and I told them yesterday, you got to stay on it. We got to stay committed to each other. You have to be positive, and you have to believe. That's the only way. If you don't, then it'll just continue to unravel. But that's the only approach that you can have when you do have some adversity in your life. We got adversity, okay? Everybody was in here. Everybody was on time. Everybody was at the weight room on time. Everybody turned in their travel gear on time. Everybody's doing things that you're asking them to do, okay? But it's the only way we're going to get it fixed is from us. That's it. Nobody else is going to walk in here. Nobody else is just going to flip the switch or something magically is going to happen. We all have to stay together. We all have to be positive, and we got to believe that we're going to break through this thing somehow, some way.
Coach, is this identity recognition thing, is this like a different approach than it was the last couple of weeks?
No. Obviously, we wouldn't put the guys out there if we didn't feel like they were going to give us the best chance to win, whoever's taking the field. Okay, but the reality of the situation, it changes week to week. Every week when you turn the tape on, you evaluate your football team, what's going well, what's not going well, what mistakes are happening, what things are good for us, what things are not as good as we would want them to be, or not we're not seeing that on tape. And you have to let that talk to you. When you start your package and you put your game plan together, you put your ready list together, you've got to start with that, period.
Are you expecting to potentially get any of the guys back that have been injured?
And again, I know you get frustrated with me. You come, you ask about injuries, but I don't know that. I really don't. I feel bad when you ask. I think we should probably just say, hey, Thursday. That's probably the best I can give you in terms of who's available. Unfortunately, some appointments are still taking place. Some MRIs are still taking place. I don't know. I really don't. But to answer your question right now, we have who we have, and I can't tell you right now. Some of the guys that are out, they're longer term. They're not going to be back for a while. We won't have Brady. We won't have Clayton. You know that. We won't have Ty. You know that. Vaughn is still day to day. You know, obviously he's just, you know, he's back and he's tough as nails, but it's just not where it needs to be yet.
Yeah, I got you. I just figured I'd ask. And then just talk a little bit about Toledo. Like you said, they're the best team right now. Their offense is really high power. What are you seeing on film that just makes them so dangerous? So balanced, period. I mean, they're rushing for 250, throwing for almost the same, obviously averaging 41 points a game. Flip over to the defensive side of the ball, starts in the trenches. They lead the conference in 19 sacks. They only given up 2 sacks on the year, so they're doing a great job in the trenches where it starts. Coach Candle's done a phenomenal job in recruiting. Their personnel is really good. They've done a good job in the transfer portal, attracting players to their place. So you got to give them credit. I give them credit. Yeah, they got a lot of guys that have been with them since 18 or 19 or 20. That this will be our second or third time playing against some of these same guys personnel-wise, and those guys are still playing good football. They've been durable. They've done a good job of bringing the same thing
each and every week. And so you got to give them credit. Again, they really should have had probably a chance to win that one on the road. They did to start the season at Illinois, but they're doing good things. And they've been down. It's not like they haven't had some adversity. They've been down in games and they fought their way back, which is a sign of a team that didn't blink when they had adversity. So it's going to be a stiff test. Obviously, we know that, but we're going to embrace it and we're going to attack it with a great week here that, of preparation that we can have.
And I know that you said some of the same players from year before, but are they different at all this year compared to last?
Just better. That's really all I can say. They're better because they're more experienced and they've got a lot of confidence right now. Some of the, obviously they did a good job with their non-conference schedule. They lost that one against Illinois. They hung 71 on Texas Southern. They've just really been consistent. I'm saying consistent week in, week out, and they do a good job. They're well-rounded. You're not going to just say we're going to take away the run and make them one-dimensional. They do them both well, and they do a good job. They've got good team speed. This is the fastest team in the conference, if you will. So it's a good football team.
I know you kind of alluded to in your answers there, but any specific keys or swing areas of this game that you feel like coming up in the matchup?
We got to respond. We got to come back. Our back's against the wall. We got to come out and fight, man. We got to come out and fight, and we can't get ourselves concerned with Toledo's, won 5 in a row here. It's about us coming back out here fighting, man, doing what we need to do to handle our business. We can't have self-inflicted wounds. We got to take care of the football. It starts with those two things, and we got to go out and execute. It is what it is. We got to give our guys a chance to get on that field and be successful and go play ball.
Do you think there's any added advantage towards having seen a lot of these guys before in your game plan preparation?
Well, certainly when you know who you're facing, it's an added advantage. But again, every team is different. So even though I've seen some of the personnel on this football team, some of our guys that are playing right now haven't yet. So we can talk about, game plan being similar in some ways, if you will. But at the same time, every team is a little bit different. Our team is we've had a few moving parts here and there. So guys got to just take advantage of the 6 games that we have to watch on Toledo. The good thing is you can go back and you can maybe look at something formationally that they did a year ago or how they played this formation. Obviously, when they've had a staff that's been together for a while, the defense coordinator, Coach Candle, they've been there together for a while. So you kind of know what to expect, and you got to use every tool and avenue you can to try to prepare.
Yeah, and I know that your staff preaches pressure and turnovers every week, but given the fact that Toledo has been so strong in preventing those two things, is it even an added emphasis this week?
No question. Obviously, we gotta figure out a way to create a turnover because this football team does not shoot themselves in the foot. They do a good job of executing. So, any ways that we can make the QB uncomfortable in the pocket, any way that we can force a turnover, certainly those are things that we're going to look to try to get that done. Okay.
I got one thing, sorry. You talk about this identity thing, which is kind of big to you guys right now. Is that something that needs to be found in practice or during games, or how do you want them to find that?
That's not the players. I'm talking about the coaches.
Okay.
We have to make sure that we have our identity has to adjust. We're not that same team that worked all off season spring thinking we're building our offense around the 2 All-American tight ends. We're just not that. We're not that anymore. Obviously thinking about the run game, thinking about the play action that's set up off that, the versatility with those 2 guys being able to be in line and block on some of those run looks, and then you want to split them out. Obviously when Brady got hurt, we put Cole Mosier in. Cole was an extra offensive lineman that was performing that role. He broke his hand. So now you remove him from the lineup, and some of the things that we really hung our hat on in 12 personnel from a running standpoint, we just don't have that personnel available. So we have to be an 11 team. We have to be what fits us best right now. It is what it is. And when I say that, it's not on the players. It's on us as coaches to be able to get that done and adjust and say, this is what we do well. We got to grow that, and that's where it starts.
Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just looking at the stats here as a leader of the defense. I know you've missed some time this year, but you guys have got 13 sacks through 6 games, and I know sacks is just one stat, but do you feel like the defensive line is living up to its potential right now?
I say in a way. I feel like we always got more to bring, sack, like you said, sacks is just a thing, it's just not like, it's a team sport, so everybody, comes along with it. So, but, D-line, I feel like we're on the up. We're going up, and, it's always more work to do and more improvements to make. So, I feel like we're not done yet. We still got a lot to show, a lot to prove. And I feel like we're just getting hungrier and hungrier each week. So, yeah.
I think Coach Neu said that Toledo's only surrendered 2 sacks all season. So, kind of knowing that, what's the defensive line's approach this week?
Just stay to our process. Trust the game plan ahead of us. What the coaches put in front of us, just go out and execute the game plan. Don't overdo anything like we shouldn't be doing. Just stand to our assignment. Yes, we want to get after the quarterback, but like I said, it's team sport. So when our back end take care of things, up front, eats, and we're gonna go out there and execute what the game plan is at the end of the day. So.
I know the defense has struggled a little bit with injuries, just with Clayton and some defensive backs, and even yourself at points. But Coach said that he feels like the defense has done a good job of finding its new identity with all these injuries. How have you guys gone about doing that?
I feel like a lot of players stepped up. Injuries are part of the sport. It's gonna happen. It's gonna come and go. So I feel like we got a lot of young guys that stepped up. Contributed and played their roles. They were hungry. So they wanted to play. Like Keontae, he was a young guy. He wanted to play at a young age, but now it's time to step up. And he stepped up, and he's stepping up as a linebacker. Helping us out there as a, calling plays, getting us a line right. So it's a lot of people out there that's stepping up to the plate and just trying to execute our game plan at the end of the day. So.
You said Keontae is an example of somebody who's stepped up in that regard. Who else has done so?
Ty Baldwin, he's another guy that stepped up. We got some D linemen that stepped up that I'm proud of. Like Jack Sape. He was a little hurt last year with some facing injuries. He stepped up. I said Ty. Got Jay Harm. I call him Jay Harm. He stepped up too. Another young guy that come in and play his role. So, we just go along with the game plan each week. Following what the coaches put in front of us. Try to take it step by step. Because each week is a new opportunity. Go out and show what we could do. So, at the end of the day, it's us versus whoever is in front of us. So we gotta go out and execute at the end of the day.
You mentioned the defense being hungry, and hunger was one of the things that I saw at the beginning of the season, just from the whole team. After the start that you guys have had, how have you kind of been able to keep that same hunger?
Yeah, it was a shaky start, but I feel like we're the same crew. I feel like we come in each week, we have this game plan, we have this goal to execute. So I feel like starting after the game Sunday, I feel like we just go in with a new mindset. Last week is over with. Let's go into a new week. So I feel like our hunger levels, we just gotta get more hungry. Out on the field. I feel like we're just not hungry enough all the way, but I feel like we're hungry, but it could be more. And that's something I gotta step up and bring to the defense more, and other people gotta step up and bring to the defense more, pushing each other around. Because it's a group. We're a group as a whole, and we gonna be as best as our weakest players. So, just stepping up to the plate and doing what we could do to execute our game plan at the end of the day. Like I'm saying.
I know you have to win 5 of your last 6 games to be bowl eligible. Is that something that you think can motivate the guys even more to get to that hunger level that you're talking about?
Yeah, for sure. That's our goal. That's our goal, to win out the rest of the year. So we're gonna do what it takes. execute what's in front of us, like I said. So, like Coach Neu preached, each week is a new week, each week is a new game, and this is a new week to go out there and show what we could do and show and prove to everybody like that we're not what we're showing on the field lately. Like, so I feel like we got more to us. We're gonna come out with a bang, I feel like. So, because that's just the room we got, that's the crew we got. I feel like everybody is just like hungry to, go out and prove everybody wrong. So
do you feel like there's anything in particular that needs to change, I guess, on the defensive end to get wins going forward?
We just gotta tighten up our alignment, tighten up our assignment, just as a whole. Everybody just gotta do their job a little bit better. It's not much we can do. We just gotta follow our game plan. Just keep attacking our game plan. Just gotta do it like a little bit better. Gotta go out like hungrier, like you said. So the more we go out hungrier and attack our game plan more and have that energy, then I feel like we'll come over on top.
Like you kind of referenced, you got hurt earlier in the season, but it seems like, as the weeks have gone on, you've gotten more and more healthy and everything. What exactly were you dealing with? Because we see you wearing that elbow brace.
I was dealing with a little elbow injury, but it was a little tweak in the elbow. It wasn't nothing too serious. I'm back now, but I had to miss a couple games. But like I said, everybody goes through injuries. Everybody goes through battles. It's not gonna hold me back. It's only gonna make me stronger. So I feel like this is something that's just building my energy up, my energy level up, my confidence up to come back stronger. Having that, confident in it and just trying to come out, just help the team as much as I can.
Yeah, kind of like what he said, guys did a good job defending the run. Guys got 5 sacks, I think it was, against Eastern Michigan. A number of them came in the second half. What did you feel like as a defense you guys kind of found there that was working for you in that second half?
We found, the thing we found, I felt like, was just going into the game with the game plan of, like, our assignment working. Like what we went through all week practicing and trusting that game plan and trusting what we practiced and put on the field and going out there and executing on the field. I feel like that was our goal of doing it. And I felt like we executed that to a little bit of perfection, but not all the way. But I feel like we let up some things, but I felt like we was just hungry up front, just to go get after the quarterback. I felt like the pressures we put in and the packages we put in, I feel like we wanted them more, than they did. So, yeah.
And I don't know the numbers off the top of my head, but I want to say in each of the last 3 second halves, you guys as a defense have had more success than in the start of the game, especially the second quarter. I think it's like on the season 95-14 scoring disparity. That's not all on the defense, but what's kind of giving you guys a little bit of trouble starting faster?
I think it's us. I feel like we gotta come out with the bang. I think we just come out with this mindset of, oh, we just gonna go through emotion. No, we just gotta come out, pressing the issue from the start. Having their backs against the wall. I feel like that's gonna help us, better through the rest of the season. Attacking our opponent just from the go. But we just gotta execute our game plan at the end of the day. What's put in front of us. We gotta communicate better on the front and back end. We gotta run to the ball. We gotta just attack. Play hard. And I feel like that's something we're gonna do and prove to everybody. So.
Yeah, and it's gonna be a tough challenge this week. Obviously, like Coach talked about with Toledo being really the top of the conference in terms of offense. From your perspective, what do you think makes their offense so dangerous, and specifically their quarterback?
They have a lot of versatile guys, a lot of athletic guys, that they could get the ball to and, that can make plays. But at the end of the day, I feel like with our defense, I feel like we can stop them, as a whole. We just put our mind to it, trust the process, go out to practice this week and just, play hard, play like we wanted more. So I feel like if we go out and do those things, I feel like we'll have a good game against them.
I'm assuming you guys took buses to Eastern Michigan. Okay. On kind of the way back after the game, what was kind of the atmosphere like on that ride?
It was a couple players hurt, It was a little like a hurt feeling because we know like what we are capable of and what we could do. So it was kind of, it hit home right there, because I feel like as a team whole, we knew we should never let that one go. We fought hard, to get to this point. So I felt like, just at the end of the day, like, we just gotta move on, Just gotta push this to the back of the bus, Just gotta move on, Coach Neu said, it's a new week, Forget about the past, new week, new execution. Let's go attack that game plan and execute. So.
Cole's talked about that the defense has been like really good with communication on and off the field. Do you think that's probably true?
Yeah, that's very true. I feel like we communicate a lot, on and off the field. If not on the field, we communicate off the field a lot. Come on the sideline, make sure we get the right adjustments made, on the field, make sure we get everybody aligned right, in the right positions to stop the play ahead of us. So I feel like our communication is very well.
Do you think that's helped in some of the successes that you guys have had as far as stopping the run on particular occasions, getting pressures in the second half?
Yeah, for sure. Communication is the sport of football. If you don't communicate, you don't make plays. You don't stop the run. You don't stop the pass. So when we communicate, that just makes us even more better because we're communicating on different levels. Communicating up front. Different pass rushes. Different games. To mix up to show the offensive linemen we're communicating on the back end. Different coverages. Different looks we're getting on the receivers and their formation. So we're always communicating because that just makes us even better. Because we're all on the same page, we're all locked in, and we're all trying to go out and execute, successfully.
Thanks, David.
Oh, good. Thank you.
Appreciate it.